Coming from Politico, Trump administration orders sweeping freeze of federal aid. In a two-page memo, the Office of Management and Budget ordered all federal agencies to temporarily suspend payments. 1 week in, the Trump administration is broadening its assault on the functions of government and shifting control of the federal purse strings further away from members of Congress. Yeah, there's nothing suspicious there, right? Trying to circumvent the Constitution and the order of operations for the federal government? President Donald Trump's budget office Monday ordered a total freeze on all federal financial assistance that could be targeted under his previous executive orders, pausing funding for a wide range of priorities, from domestic infrastructure and energy projects to diversity-related programs and foreign aid. There is truly a fear of diversity in a nation that markets itself to the globe as a melting pot. In a two-page memo obtained by Politico, the Office of Management and Budget announced all federal agencies would be forced to suspend payments with the exception of Social Security and Medicare. The use of federal resources to advance Marxist equity, transgenderism, and Green New Deal social engineering policies is a waste of taxpayer dollars that does not improve the day-to-day lives of those we serve, according to the memo, which 3 people authenticated. So equity, the trans community, and the Green New Deal is a waste of taxpayer dollars and don't improve our day-to-day lives. Way to say who you see as human and who you do not. The new order could affect billions of dollars in grants to state and local governments while causing disruptions to programs that benefit many households. There was also widespread confusion over how the memo would be implemented and whether it would face legal challenges. While the memo says the funding pause does not include assistance provided directly to individuals, for instance, it does not clarify whether that includes money sent first to states or organizations and then provided to households. You still think that all of this legislation was going to be just for owning the libs? The brief memo also does not detail all payments that will be halted. However, it broadly orders federal agencies to temporarily stop sending federal financial assistance that could be affected by Trump's executive actions. That's damn near everything. That includes the president's order to freeze all funding from the Democrats' signature climate and spending law, the Inflation Reduction Act, and the bipartisan infrastructure package enacted in 2021. It also imposes a 90-day freeze on foreign aid. Way for the current POTUS to say he doesn't understand global politics or treaties. We're fucked. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, in a statement, decried the announcement as an example of more lawlessness and chaos in America as Donald Trump's administration blatantly disobeys the law by holding up virtually all vital funds that support programs in every community across the country. The New York Democrat urged the administration to lift the freeze. They say this is only temporary, but no one should believe that, he said. Donald Trump must direct his administration to reverse course immediately, and the taxpayers' money should be distributed to the people. Congress approved these investments, and they are not optional. They are the law, and that's the key. This is taxpayer money. How long are you going to lie for Trump and blindly support Trump for him to continue to tax you but never represent you? What happened to no taxation without representation? Or did you sleep through that part too? Bobby Kogan, who worked at the White House Budget Office during the Biden administration, called the memo a big, broad, illegal order that violates impoundment law, which blocks presidents from unilaterally withholding money without the consent of Congress. This is as bad as we feared it would be, said Kogan, who also served as a Democratic aide to the Senate Budget Committee and is now a director at the left-leaning Center for American Progress. The president of the National Council of Nonprofits, Diane Yentel, said in a statement that the order could decimate thousands of organizations and leave neighbors without the services they need. Newsflash, Trump supporters, you are those neighbors. The funding pause, first reported by journalist Marissa Kabas, is scheduled to start at 5 p.m. Tuesday, a day after the memo was sent to agencies. Just another neighborhood reminder. Legislation does not skip over certain political parties and target others. You voted for Trump because you thought everything would be targeted against the people you can't stand, forgetting that we all live side by side. Now what say ye?
Last night, President Trump plunged the country into chaos without a shred of warning. The Trump administration announced a halt to virtually all federal funds across the country. In an instant, Donald Trump has shut off billions, perhaps trillions of dollars that directly support states, cities, towns, schools, hospitals, small businesses, and most of all, American families. This is a dagger at the heart of the average American family in red states, in blue states, in cities, in suburbs, in rural areas. It is just outrageous. Funds for things like disaster assistance, local law enforcement, rural hospitals, aid to the elderly, food for people in need, all are on the chopping block in this new administration. Why? They need tax cuts for the ultra-wealthy, and these cuts, they think, will fund them. Every one of our offices has been deluged with calls from people who are in panic. What is this going to mean? What if I have a hospital that has people on life support? What are we going to do? And just like the January 6th pardons, this decision is lawless, dangerous, destructive, cruel. It's illegal. It's unconstitutional. I spoke to my Attorney General this morning. She's head of the State Attorneys General Association. They're going to court right away on this horror. This, plain and simple, this is Project 2025. Project 2025 by another name. They knew how unpopular Project 2025 was, but the right-wing ideologues are still in control. So they had to do it in a different way, but it is the same consequences and will have the same horrible, negative, overwhelming reaction from the American people. And who is going to be the implementer of this? None other than the chief cook and bottle washer of Project 2025, Russell Vought. Putting someone like Russell Vought at OMB, the architect of Project 2025, is a huge danger sign to America.
Attorney General calling you back.
No.
Put him on speakerphone. Yeah.
No. My grandson lost his first tooth. It's a very big occasion.
That's worthy of a call.
And I told his mother to put $10 under his pillow. I used to get a quarter. All right.
Okay, we'll keep monitoring that. I think Democrats trying to push back against this federal freeze and talking about the impact. I'm curious what Republicans are saying about all this.
I think, for the most part, everyone here on Capitol Hill, Anna, is a bit caught flat-footed by this announcement by the Trump administration to essentially review and perhaps freeze the funding to countless federal programs across the country. They're not exactly sure how to react. They're not exactly sure of the impact that this could have across the country and along with their constituents as well. But this could potentially be a real stress point for members of Congress, because up until this point, And I know we're only a week into the Trump administration, but Senate and House Republicans, for the most part, have seemed to be willing to do Trump's bidding and not push back at all, and use their authority as a co-equal branch of government to keep the administration in check. This is a real opportunity now for House and Senate Republicans to stand up and say, this is money that's already appropriated. This is money that has been signed into law and must be given to the different agencies and groups that are responsible for administering it to the American people. And so one of the things we're going to look for today is how Senate Republican appropriators, in particular, the people that are responsible for crafting the budget plans and the spending plans for the country, are reacting to all of this. Because what you see the Trump administration essentially trying to do is take that authority out of the hands of Congress. So, the Constitution explicitly says that Congress has the power of the purse, and it is the responsibility of Congress to create the budget and appropriate those funds. And it's only the responsibility of the executive branch to actually administer those funds. So that'll be a key pressure point. But it was also interesting, I thought, Anna, the framing that you hear from Senator Schumer and Democrats. They want this to be focused on the real world impact, the average everyday people that could find themselves losing funding that they count on. And we expect that to be a narrative that we hear from Democrats increasingly more in the coming days. Anna?
Ryan Nobles on